Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. I'm Paul Sokol, and welcome to today's Mastermind webinar, where today you are going to learn how to build a chain of one-click upsells and downsells natively using Infusionsoft. No plugins, no nothing like that. So let's just go ahead and start having some fun. I'm Paul Sokol here, and I'll tell you a little bit more about myself in a little bit if you've never heard of me, and that's probably the case here. Before we get into this is a mastermind call. So it's focusing on one specific advanced topic. If you're looking for general product training, I'd recommend that you check out our virtual academy. It is a free webinar series. Everything's available on demand, and it covers pretty much all aspects of Infusionsoft. So this is going to be an advanced training today. If you're looking to just get a general feel for how Infusionsoft works, I'd recommend checking out the virtual academy. If you're the type that prefers some more one-on-one, like hand-holding type training, we do have Infusionsoft University, and the next upcoming one is in Philadelphia, March 11th through the 14th. All you have to do is go to infusionsoft.com/university to sign up. And regarding these mastermind calls, it's a very democratic thing. We don't just want to throw stuff at you that we think would be beneficial for you guys to know. You can vote on it. You can submit topics and vote on them, and then at the beginning of the week we'll decide what we're going to do. All you do is go to mastermindwebinars.uservoice.com. Today, this topic was not actually suggested. This is something that was discovered as I was helping somebody with a product launch, and I shared it with Michael, who I believe has been running these mastermind calls, and he said, "Hey, this is great. Would you mind doing a mastermind on it?" So I said, "Sure, why not?" So because I'm a guest here today, I need to tell you why you should really pay close attention. One, this is a really advanced topic, so you definitely want to kind of hang out with me, and there's going to be time for questions and things at the end. But I've been using Infusionsoft since 2008. I know it like the back of my hand. If you've ever used any of the Kickstart campaigns or ones in the marketplace, those all came from me. I produced them and researched them and did all that stuff. And I'm also responsible for the campaign of the month, which is basically just putting another campaign in the marketplace. So the reason why you should pay close attention is because I'm a massive, huge nerd and disciple for Infusionsoft, and I try to find ways to really stretch the system like we're going to go ahead and see today. So enough about me. Let's get you guys learning some stuff here. Let's start by laying down the groundwork for what is a one-click purchase. This may be simple for some of you. This may be a new idea. The general concept is if you already have somebody's information, specifically a credit card, you don't need to collect that again. You already have it. Same thing with like if you already have somebody's name or email or phone number, you really don't need to ask for that information again unless you're doing it strategically to kind of get more of that psychological buy-in. But a one-click purchase is exactly what it sounds like. You click a mouse, boom, card gets billed, they receive whatever it is that they wanted. A really great example of this is Amazon.com. When you go ahead and sign in, there is that buy now with one click link that you see right there, and all you do is choose the address on file and hit one click. And I don't know what the numbers are, but I would imagine that this just makes a killing as far as selling stuff on Amazon because it's all about reducing that barrier to entry. It's so much easier for somebody to say, oh, I want this, and I can buy it with a single click. Kind of promotes that impulse buy here. So when we're looking at life cycle marketing, where do one-click purchases happen? There's pretty much two places specifically where they're going to happen. The first place it's going to happen is when you're converting the very first sale. So when you're making that first sale, if you're selling it online, of course, there is the option to do these one-click purchases. And I guess that's something that maybe it's obvious because it's a click, but this is for online purchases here. The other time where you can do one-click purchases is later in the life cycle with the customer, and you're trying to upsell them. So this is where they can happen. Now, specifically today, we're talking about a chained upsell downsell. And this is a really advanced topic, and you may not understand what we're talking about here. So let me go ahead and give you an example. So let's say you have an upsell offer. If somebody takes that, then you present them with something else that they can buy. If they do not take it, then you present them with something else that's different. And again, they can either take that or not. Now, in this particular example, if they do take the downsell offer 1, we're funneling them back to upsell offer 2. If not, they can go to another downsell here. Now, this is not like a set-in-stone structure here. You could have a unique path for each and every one. I just wanted to try and keep it simple. And then again, you could say, hey, if they take offer 2, why not give them a third one? And if they don't like that, then they can do it. So there's actually a lot of paths that people can take through this. This particular example is pretty complex because if you look at it, there's 6 offers here. So that's basically 6 products. And that's, at least to me, that seems like that would be a lot, especially for smaller businesses or if you don't have a lot of products here. So this is the general concept for it. I'd like to go ahead and show you a real-life example that is actually much simpler than this, but I guarantee it's raking in the money. I haven't looked at the at the sales figures or anything, but I know that this company has had the same kind of one-click upsell, downsell for at least as long as I've been paying attention to them and following them. So the example is GKIC, Dan Kennedy. So what they have is something called the most incredible free gift ever. It's a fantastic idea. What it basically is they have a monthly continuity program, and the lowest level, I believe, is a gold level membership, and it's $60 a month. And what this most incredible free gift is you get a bunch of resources, reports and things like that, and then 2 months into that gold membership. And after those 2 months, then they bill you for, whatever, $60 a month, I think it is. The cost for this free gift is actually $19.95, and that's framed as the shipping of the product. So everything's free, but because it's physical stuff, it's $20 to ship it to you. This is so they can grab your credit card, because once you press order on that most incredible free gift, you're taken to a page that's trying to sell their magnetic marketing product, and they're selling it at a 50% discount. It's normally about $500 because you got the incredible free gift. I want to I want to give you a deal. Hey, click here to add this to your order. If they take the upsell, then it tries to sell them Renegade Millionaire at half price. If they do not take the magnetic marketing upsell, it still tries to sell them Renegade Millionaire. However, even though they're both the same product on the far right, it's 2 different pages. So for the upper Renegade Millionaire box, the content is pretty much the exact same on both pages. The main difference is it's addressing your previous behavior. So if you did take the magnetic marketing upsell, the Renegade Millionaire page says, hey, you've made a great choice to add that to your most incredible free gift. Let me give you one more special offer. If you do not take magnetic marketing, it says, hey, something like, no big deal. If you don't want that, that's okay. Let me go ahead and show you something that you might want. So again, this is a lot simpler than that chained upsell downsell that I showed you in the previous slide. But again, I guarantee this is making a killing here. And again, I don't know the stats, but I do know that this funnel has been in place at least for a couple of years, ever since I started, really paying attention to what all these people are doing with their different funnels. And I don't believe it's changed. So this is a great example. And these are all one-clicks. So on the magnetic marketing page, you can say, yes, add to order, or no, thanks. And on Renegade Millionaire, hey, add to order, no, thanks. So that's what we're talking about when you say a chained upsell, downsell. Now, as you could probably tell, this is an advanced concept. So here's how the learning flow is going to work, is everything builds on itself. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and teach you today is how to create orders using the campaign builder. It's not something that you can do natively, but it is something you can do, and it's a key function and a key tactic in order to do this one-click stuff. Once I show you how to create an order, I'm going to show you how to do a single one-click upsell. So basically, it's just one option. It's not a chain. It's just, hey, somebody buys something, and then, hey, do you want this or not? That's it. Then once we've established that framework and we've created these thought processes in your head, then I'm going to show you how to chain it all together. And theoretically, you can create a chain of upsells and downsells that's as long as you want. You're pretty much just limited by the number of products and things that you have here. And the more complex it is, the more you just have to pay attention to the messaging here. I actually want to flip back to the slide here. that's really important for these one-click upsells is the messaging and addressing the behavior. I'm not really going to talk about the messaging or anything. This is mostly a tactical, here's the functional pieces for how to do it. But as I mentioned, one version of the page addresses the fact that they did take magnetic marketing, so it's extremely targeted to them. The other version of Renegade Millionaire is targeted for people that did not take magnetic marketing. So the more complex your chain gets, you just want to make sure that your messaging is completely in alignment with every experience that somebody can have. So again, this is what you're going to learn today. I'm going to show you how to create orders, how to do a single one-click upsell, and then how to chain it all together natively using Infusionsoft, nothing else. And I will be getting into the software too, if you're wondering. So how do you create orders in the Campaign Builder? As I mentioned, this isn't something that you can do natively. So in order to do this, you have to use the legacy action hook that's into the Campaign Builder. So you see a little screenshot of it below where it's using the, I don't even know what that's called, what that little movie clicker dealy is, but that's how you hook into the legacy stuff. And in order to create an order, there's two requirements. The obvious one is you have to have a product. That seems pretty straightforward. The less obvious is a payment plan. And I guess that little clicker thing is called a slate. Thanks so much, Scott, for that. The payment plan is critical to the create an order action because this is how the merchant account is selected. And that's not super obvious. So let me go ahead and show you exactly how we create orders in the Campaign Builder. So here we are. I'm in my app. We're in e-commerce. Of course, I've got a couple of products created here. It's going to make me sign in again. So here's these couple of products. So product created, done. The other thing we need to do is we need to go and we need to create a payment plan. And in this case, I like to call it one-click sale. And it can be the same plan, and I'll explain why. So you don't need to put a financing key right. You can choose to override the cart's merchant account, totally up to you. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, I'm setting up a pay plan. It's going to show up in my order forms. It's going to show up in my shopping cart. I don't want that to show up. So the trick is to simply add order date criteria that's in the past. So it doesn't show up on your live order forms or your carts, but you can still use it for the create an order action. So those are the two requirements here. You create, if you don't set that, it'll create an order. I think that defeats the whole point of having a one-click. So let's look at that particular action set here. And just in case you were wondering, this is being recorded probably in the next couple of days. So here we are, marketing settings. Let's take a peep at our action sets, and I'm going to add an action set. Mastermind, one-click upsell is what we're going to call it. Now, whenever you see for the things you cannot do in Infusions, in the Campaign Builder. So for example, you can apply tags in the builder, you can send emails, you can assign contacts. You do not want to do those things inside an action set. It doesn't make any sense. It decentralizes it. The only thing you should be doing is creating an order. And that's, again, something you can't do natively, so create an order. When you first start out, it's looking for a bundle. If you don't have any bundles, just hit save this action or take it an upsell. Okay. So you see pay-click sale. This is what, again, when you do auto charge, it knows what merchant account to use. And that's it. So this is our action. Must have a product, must have a payment plan, so we know the merchant account. That's it. That's all we're going to do. Again, anything else like tagging, whatnot, that needs to happen natively. You put date range criteria in the past. This basically prevents here. So that's what you would do. And then when we hop back into our campaign here, as far as actually invoking that, and then this is where you choose the action set. So Mastermind, one-click upsell. And whenever you're using legacy stuff, go ahead. Let us know why you're doing it. This helps us out. Oh, counts. If you're using PayPal, you cannot use this method because we do not store PayPal information. So if the first purchase was made with PayPal, you're going to have them go through a full-blown order form again. If this is something you're looking to do, I'd strongly, strongly recommend getting a full-blown merchant account. PayPal does have one. It's called PayFlow Pro. and that will allow you to do these types of things. Also, whether the upsell is a one-time product or a subscription, it doesn't matter. You still need that payment plan to associate what merchant account. That's really the key. The pay plan is there to say this is the merchant account you're going to use. And then again, it doesn't matter if it's a subscription or a one-time product. Again, to help us out as Infusionsoft, go ahead and let us know why you're using a legacy action. So in this particular case, we cannot create orders natively. That's the only reason why we're doing it. And I always like to put a sad face because that always kind of bums me out a little bit. That's it. This is how we create an order in the Campaign Builder. Showing you how to create orders in the Campaign Builder. Now, we're going to take it to your order, you will be billed, and I'll send you whatever. For those last two methods, you do need to have a credit card on file. So this would be something you'd probably only want to run with your existing customers and things like that. The idea here is that the landing page, again, it's a goal, it's an event in time, it's a moment. The submission of the landing page is taking that upsell, quote, it's accepting it. You want to make sure that you also have a no thanks link in case people don't want to take it. That's totally okay. Not everyone's going to take that upsell, and you want to be courteous and give them that. So, for example, and we'll actually go into it, but here's basically how it can look. You've got that hidden email field there, and of course that doesn't display if you're actually experiencing it. And then I have styled the button to be super excited. Yes, I do want that. And so that's the submit button, the XOMGS piece. And then no thanks is just a typical link. And that should take them to the thank you page, pretty much the same page that they would get if they submitted. Should be if they submitted this landing page, thanks them for their order. That should be the same as the no thanks because, again, in most cases, this is coming from an order they already placed. So let's go ahead and hop over back to Infusionsoft and show you that. So here is this landing page. So again, we have this hidden email field in here. This XOMGS is the submit button. I've just tweaked the styling on it. And then this no thanks link, it's just a link. I just got to go into Infusionsoft.com as a placeholder for now. Of course, you'd probably want a little more than that really casual, hey buddy, you want this upsell. This is where you maybe have a little video, some extra sales copy, and whatever the case is. The magic here is in the settings tab, and this is checked by default, but you want to make sure that you're auto-populating this form with the person's info. So when you go ahead, let's actually look at an order form, for example. I actually got an upsell downsell one here. So this is the order form. This is what we're selling. And then what you do is you set the thank you page as the hosted URL for this landing page. And again, you can just grab that right from here. The magic is making sure that you pass the contact's information to the thing. They're going to fill out this order form. It's going to go through, assuming that the order gets processed. Then it passes them to the thank you page and also passes their email address. And because it's a hosted landing page, that email address gets sucked into the hidden field, so that way when somebody submits it, they know, well, they being Infusionsoft knows who is basically taking this upsell. And again, this is usually the default, but you want to make sure that all you're doing is checking using the person's email address. So again, the experience is I go through this order form, I hit the thank you page of the order form as the upsell. If I submit it, then it puts me into a sequence that creates the order. And so that's how you do a one-click upsell. So again, we're building our thought patterns here. So I've shown you how to create an action set that does an order, so that way you can actually create an order in a sequence. And then I've shown you how to create a landing page that is used as the upsell page, as the thank you to the order form, and if they submit it, then it creates the action. So now, the question is, and this is where I got stuck. This is where I got stuck for a really, really long time. The $64,000 question is, what if somebody clicks on no thanks? How do you pass the email address to the downsell page? Because you can't put merges into those links. You can't pass it there. So that's why for the longest time I was like, all right, well, the best you can do is a one-click upsell. And then I was backed into a corner. I was helping out the launch, and they needed a one-click upsell downsell chain. They were not going to hire a developer for it. It needed to happen natively in the software. So I marinated on this for a while. And it was actually thanks to somebody asking me a question in the forums about having a landing page where the form shows up in multiple places. And it's something you've probably seen, long form landing pages where you can opt in at the top of the page, in the middle, and at the bottom, and it all takes you to the same place. And I tested something, and it worked. And then about 6 hours later, whatever, I was washing my dishes at home, and it hit me like a bolt of lightning. And I said, oh my God, that is how to do this upsell downsell chain. So let me go ahead and show you the solution here. So the magic is in understanding that the no thanks, it's something they click on. Traditionally, it's a link. Why, however, can it not be the submit button of a different web form than the landing page? And that was the connection. And I was super excited when I figured that out, like to the point where I built it, I tested it. This is the actual campaign that I built, I don't know, when was it? Back at the beginning of February. You can see in the evening, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So here is the idea. So you have the upsell landing page that we've seen, and then we have the decline upsell web form. This web form is the web form itself. You can see it's super minimal because that's all it needs to be. It has the hidden email field, so again, the system knows who is declining the upsell, and I've just styled the button to say no thanks. The magic is I take the JavaScript version of that decline upsell one web form, and I put that into the HTML snippet underneath the submit button for this landing page. And because we're using the JavaScript version, it will also pre-populate the email address in the web form, which is the decline, as well as the landing page, which is taking the upsell. So this is visually what it looks like. Again, you got your landing page. Yes, no thanks. This is submit the OMG yes, that is submitting the landing page. If I click on no thanks, it's submitting the web form. So again, this OMG yes is a landing page submit button. The no thanks is a web form submit button. And on the back end, the email field is populated in all cases. Let's go look at the source code for a second. So you can see that we have the hidden value of my email address, and I've totally just doxed myself here, so that's my email. And then you also have the other web form, which also has the hidden email address. Well, I guess that basically is magic. But the idea is, if they take upsell number 1, then we can point them to upsell number 2, which is the same structure. You have it, and then there's a no thanks button. This landing page is the thank you page for upsell number 1. So if I submit this landing page, it means I'm taking the upsell, and then the thank you page of that is this. If I decline the upsell, because it's a web form, it has a unique thank you page, it takes me to the downsell 1 landing page. And again, that's the thank you page of this web form over here. So I visually, group these together to kind of demonstrate the concept. But the idea, if we wanted to connect them, is something like this, where it goes like this, and then if they took the upsell, it goes like this. But these two goals are on the same page again. So let's just experience this. Now, in this particular example, by the way, I don't have a business of my own. I don't have anything to sell. I just love what I do, and I love playing around in the Builder all day. So in these sequences, you would want to have that create an order button if they do take the upsell. In this example, I'm just applying a tag to track it. This is how I demonstrated that it works. So upsell, one take or not. So this long infinitely as long as you want, because this has a unique thank you page, this has a unique thank you page, this has a unique thank you page, this has a unique, so you can just keep chaining it for pretty much as many whatchamacallit products as you have, or however you want to do this chain. So let's go ahead and experience this. So again, I'm going to test this out. So do we want the juicy upsell? Man, I wish I had had a little more foresight. I would have loved to set up a poll and have you, the audience, group on who wants to take it. So in the comments, should I take this or not? First person to respond gets to make this choice. All right, everybody's saying yes. Actually, everybody's saying yes. Cool. All right, so I say yes, I would like this first juicy upsell. So I submit this. That submitted the first landing page, and now I'm on the thank you page of that, which is another landing page. And so should I take the second upsell, guys? What do you think? Okay, so majority of people are saying no. Great. So let's say, okay, I took the first sell. Hey, no thanks. So again, the real life example would be like, let's say I did the Dan Kennedy Incredible Gift. I took the Magnetic Marketing upsell for $250, but I'm going to decline the $1,000 Renegade Millionaire. So when I hit no thanks, that's it. Now, this is just a thank you page for that decline. In real life, you would want to have it point to the actual thank you page here. But I was testing this process, making sure that it worked, and you can see it took the first upsell, declined the second. I can say this explicitly because I know for a fact the only way for somebody to get here is they had to take the first one, decline the second. Let's go ahead and test this one again. So in this case, I'm not going to take the first upsell. So you notice how the messaging has changed, and this is really important. Hey, you didn't want that one? Hey, you want the second one? Yes, please, or hey, not this one either. Again, we're using what we know about their experience to be hyper-relevant and hyper-targeted. Because again, this is talking about people paying money with a single click. So you want to basically create that experience that you're standing like right next to them, holding their hand, and just tell them what they need to do. So if I were to say, no, not this one either, then, again, hey, you skipped the first and second, no big deal. What I want to do here is demonstrate, is basically prove to you that this works. I mean, most likely you believe it, you're seeing it, it probably makes sense to you. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead and test this with a brand new email address, and then we'll see the tagging that happens here. So, little pro tip here. If you append, and let me zoom in here, this inf field email, this is the name of the variable on the back end of the web form. And if you're pointing to the hosted version, mastermind upsell test at gmail.com. This will create a fresh contact record. And again, I don't have any emails going out, so I don't have to worry about getting spammed or anything like that. Okay. So let's say that I don't take the first one, but then I do take the second one. Get the contact record for this guy. So a little pro tip here. If you go ahead, and this is platform agnostic too, which is kind of cool. Control Q puts your search in the upper right here in the Find a Contact. And then it was Mastermind, and I don't remember exactly what I said. So I'm just going to wildcard it, star, and then if I put an @ symbol, that searches for an email address. So here's that contact, and he doesn't have a name, so I actually have to, so if you look, I have the tags, scroll over a bit. I've got the tag that I declined upsell 1, but I did take down sell 1. It can be chained infinitely. So again, in real life, if this were, if you're, well, I mean, chances are everybody's not like me and they all have their own businesses. in this took upsell 1, you'd want to have that legacy hook that creates an action set thing. You would have this action to create the order. And then if they take down sell 1, same thing. I mean, that's it, guys. That's how it works. So let's go ahead and start looking at some questions here. So I'm just going to start at the top of the list of questions and start hammering it out. And this went a little bit faster than I thought. So we may actually get into playing around with some messaging ideas. All right, so starting at the top here, I'm just doing it in the order that it's happened. All right, so one question is, the PowerPoint's going to be available afterwards? Yes and no. The replay is going to be available, so you effectively have the PowerPoints here. And I believe I addressed this earlier, but Cheryl was wondering if the upsell is a subscription, do you still need a payment plan on that action? The answer is yes, because the payment plan is what controls the merchant account. And so that's key. That's critical. Don't make that mistake, because when I first learned about that create an order action, I didn't know that, and then orders were getting created, but no money was being collected, and then the client was like, hey, what's going on? And then it was just a whole fiasco. All right. And so Tracy was wondering about PayPal. Again, I addressed this earlier. As of right now, the Infusionsoft integration for PayPal only allows for one-time only purchases. We don't store any PayPal information. So you do need a complete, full-blown merchant account in order for this idea to work. So what you can actually do is, if you're coming from an order form, obviously if you're using a merchant account, then you can go ahead and do this. If you want to maybe further down the customer life cycle, put somebody on like a one-click upsell campaign, you would want to make sure that you target only those people that you have a credit card for. Okay, so actually she has a follow-up question. This is great, and she had to leave early, but that's okay. You're catching the replay right now, Tracy, and I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and show you how to find people that paid with PayPal, people that paid with the credit card. Because, of course, you do only want to show this for people that paid with the credit card. So let's flip back over here. How would we do this? Lots of ways to skin a digital cat here. If this was my business, I think this is what I would do. I would go ahead and look for orders with a specific product. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull my foot out of my mouth, guys. We'd actually have to do something before this. So let's say we have this one-click campaign. We want to go ahead and target customers, but customers that have paid with the credit card. So what I would do is I would go look at a payment report. You see, here's the 4 people that I tested with on the 4th when I discovered that are explicitly credit card. So you would search for these people. And again, I don't know if I'll have anybody in here. Maybe myself as a test. Yeah, I was using a test merchant account. So these people actually do have using a credit card. I would go ahead and then tag these people as there. Then I can go ahead, and this is just a global thing. It was a search. In order for people to show up here, they have to have a credit card payment on file. That's it. So we can confidently tag these people that they paid with a credit card. Then you can go into the View Orders report, and you can start over and say, go ahead and show me people that have purchased, this particular product, and they have we would use the Actions drop down and say, all right, great. I'm going to go ahead and print because these are people that we tagged them as paid with credit card, so we know for a fact we can dump them in there. Alternately, I was doing an order search, so I was saying, hey, they bought this specific product. I have a, upsell for this. Alternately, you could just do a contact search for people with that tag and then, try and do this one-click upsell thing. You would just want to be careful that you, I'd recommend doing the order search idea because depending on what you're selling, you may not want to try and sell people something a second time, especially if you're offering a discount and they paid full price originally. So that's how you'd only show it to people that paid with a credit card. Jeff has a fantastic question. Will we ever able to be used? Wow, can't say words today. Will we ever be able to use images for submit buttons? Natively out of the box, I'm sure at some point we will. there are some code snippets floating around here. I'm not going to share that publicly because it is code. It's unsupported. If it ever breaks, we can't help you. But Jeff, if you want to go ahead and shoot me an email individually, I'll happily go ahead and show you how to do that. It's just paul.sokol@infusionsoft.com. And of course, that invite's open to anybody that's on here. But just be aware that if you are using an image as a submit button, it is using code and it is not supported. So if it ever breaks in the future and you call up tech support, they can't help you. So there's that. I'm sure at some point we'll be able to say, hey, use this as the submit button. Okay, more questions here. Okay, so Graham makes a good point. He says, this means you can send them to the landing page via email as well if you pass the details. So if they don't take the upsell, you can give them a second chance via email. Let me actually show you how I would build that. I like to call this like an upsell abandon. So they purchase online, right? So this goal happens. This is the order form right here, purchasing. Ideally, this goal is going to happen, in the next couple minutes, whatever. If you've got like a long video, maybe it's 10 minutes or whatever. But then if they don't take it, and then what I'd recommend doing is throw a delay in here, maybe 30 take it, and then we can start, communicating with them. It says, hey, last chance for a limited time offer. However you want to do it, it's totally up to you. But yes, that is how you would. That's how I'd recommend doing something like that, Graham. For those using WordPress, WordPress has a problem with email addresses. It changes. Yeah, it's URLing. Yeah, okay, so Ferris has a comment. Let's show it to everybody. I don't know if I can. The answer, Ferris, is that's actually it's a security feature of WordPress where it URL encodes things. I'm not aware of a way that that's fixed. I want to say that I remember seeing something in the forums about that. So if you go to community.infusionsoft.com and search the forums, search for WordPress, you may find something about that. But I seem to remember that that issue is a WordPress like security thing, and I don't remember exactly why that's the case or how that works. Also, if you're driving to a landing page and you want it to pre-populate the email address, I'd recommend using the hosted version anyway, because then that way it guarantees the email is always going to get populated. So I would almost say that if they're coming from an order form, just take them the hosted version. It's not an issue. If you're taking people there from an email, again, might as well take them to the hosted landing page. Okay, question. Can you share your demo campaign? That's a really great question, Don. The only reason I'm hesitant to do something and like maybe make this a campaign of the month for April or something like that is because it uses legacy actions, and I do not believe everybody has those enabled. For everybody on this call, chances are you probably do, but I believe that for newer apps, those are turned off. So, and again, it's kind of complex as far as setting up the product, setting up the payment plan. That's not something that gets imported with the campaign, and so it would just be challenging. And then the other thing is we're JavaScript snippeting in this form into here, which of course is unique per app. So my personal thoughts are it's just too, the setup is too complex for the average user right now. My guess is that because of this discovery and because I was recently absorbed into the product team, that we'll be able to figure out a way to natively like have this type of goal right in the campaign builder, and then it'll be easy. Graham's asking, is there a list of Infusionsoft keyboard shortcuts? Yeah. Here it is. Pay attention. Control plus Q equals quick search focus. So here I am, no matter where I'm at in the page, Control Q, boom, focus is up here. If I am on a PC, then Control plus up or down changes quick search type. So my cursor's in here. If I hold Control and press down, I can change it to be a company search, task appointment note, opportunity order, things like that. The only other quick keys that I'm aware of are for date fields. So when you're looking at a date, you press I for information. So I press I, brings up these quick date keys. There is actually some logic here if you look at it. T stands for today. You're using the plus or the equals to add or subtract a day. W adds a week, and then K subtracts it because K is at the end of the word week. Same thing with month, M and H. F and L is the first or the last day of the month. And then this down here is the lower left-hand corner of your keyboard, Monday to Friday. Especially if you're like opportunity heavy or playing around with dates a lot, those can save you a ton of time. Okay. So Jeff is asking, would the first upsell landing page be the thank you page from an order form for a new customer? Yes, absolutely. So this upsell one page, which has this decline embedded via HTML snippet, this would be the thank you page for the order form. Okay, Barbara is saying, I'm not understanding which part of the decline upsell web form you're using. Okay, so let's look at this one, because this is kind of the magic sauce here. Got to make sure that we're all understanding this. So this is all this order form is. Hidden email field, and then the submit button is basically written as a no thanks. And then what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the JavaScript for this particular, for this web form. And then what I'm doing is in this landing page, I have an HTML snippet underneath the landing page's submit button, and inside here is where I put the JavaScript for the decline upsell. So I hope that makes sense. All right. So Scott's saying, I'm a Mac user, I'd like better looking landing pages. Can we use ready-made landing pages, and who can we get them from so they work with Infusionsoft? I'm not sure how a Mac what being a Mac user has to do with that, but yeah, there's all sorts of other landing page systems out there that work. I know a big one is Lead Pages. I believe there's an integration with Unbounce. You know, there's a handful of them. Now, the magic is in the auto-populating of the email address. That I do not know. Now, here's also the thing. You can get these landing pages looking pretty fancy. You just have to play around with it because it's a drag-and-drop builder. It's basically like playing with a bunch of Legos. And so when you're looking at a landing page, you've got a lot of layout options. You can have a header and a footer, of course, but then you can have a left and a right sidebar. So you end up having a, up to 3 columns in the body of it, and then a header and a footer with info in there, and you can adjust the widths and label positions, and then again, it's all just about, it's just like Legos. You're stacking the snippets and the field snippets in the order that you want to get the look and feel that you're going for here. The other thing to be aware of is this is an upsell, so this has already happened like after the sales happened. You don't have to get super fancy with it. In reality, simpler is probably better because you want to completely command their attention and just, hey, do you want to buy this? Yeah, obviously, sell it, whatever you need to do. But yes, there are other landing pages, but I don't know if they do the pre-population piece. So that's the magic sauce there. Can you show where the thank you page for the upsell is connected to the landing page? Okay, great question, Mark, because I actually did not, pardon me, Mike, great question. I did not look at that. So this is the thank you page for upsell 1. So I'm going to go to upsell 2, same structure. It has the JavaScript for the decline upsell 2 over here. All I did was go to the code tab and I copied this URL here. So for example, this ends in 74070. That's the XID of the form for us code nerds out there. So then what I did is on the thank you page of upsell 1, I simply said, okay, great. Go ahead and take them to this form and pass the person's info. So it's going to pass the email to the next page. For declining the upsell, again, this downsell 1 is the thank you page for that. So all I would do, same idea, I'd copy this, and then this would be the thank you page of decline upsell. So again, if they say no thanks, then we just take them here and again pass the person's info. So even though they're not taking it, we can still pass the email address to that next page. Great question, Mike. Thank you. And just so you know, guys, I know that we've got about 5 minutes or so left. So for the people that got a jet right at the top of the hour, thank you so much for your time today. I've had a blast sharing this with you. If you haven't been able to tell, I completely love this, and I'm a total nut and fanatic for automated experiences, especially using the builder. So I have personally blocked off extra time after this to make sure I answer all questions. So I will stay until all questions are answered. But again, if you got to leave in a few minutes, thank you so much. Feel free to go ahead and follow me on Twitter, ask me questions. I'd be more than happy to help you out here. I'd like to think I'm a super friendly and approachable guy, and my purpose is to assist those who desire so. So if you desire some assistance, yeah, go ahead and let me know. So I'm just going to keep answering questions here. Okay, Neil brings up a really good point. Is there a security issue if someone passes somebody else's email address into the form that they could create a one-click order? Yes, that is a legitimate issue. However, if you pass somebody's email address in, it's just going to create an order for that other person. So if you actually wanted to receive those products, you wouldn't. But yeah, there is that potential. And I'm not really sure if there's a way around that, at least not until we start being able to use the contact ID hash. Once you start opening that up. Okay. Okay. Oh, good, good. Amber, I'm so glad you asked this. She said, you said something about needing JavaScript somewhere. Can you expand on that for the non-programmers, people who are scared to hear the word Java? Thank you for asking that, Amber. All we're doing, so here's the decline upsell. So this is the no thanks button on the main upsell. Only thing we're doing, Amber, is once you design this, hit an email field, no thanks, we are grabbing the JavaScript snippet version of this web form. So you don't need to know any code. You need to know how to copy paste. That's about it. So you would copy this, and then in the upsell landing page, we would grab an HTML snippet and then just go ahead and paste that JavaScript in there. And so you end up with something, that just looks like this. So sorry if I scared you, but you don't need to actually know anything. But the reason we have to use a JavaScript snippet, because there is a reason, there is a why, the JavaScript snippet is going to automatically populate that hidden email field that's on that form. And again, that's the magic sauce. It's passing the email from page to page, so Infusionsoft knows who's doing what. All right, so Neil asked, could you use this with something like lead pages? Possibly. Again, the magic sauce here is passing that email address in. I don't know if I don't know if lead pages has that. Has that functionality. Okay, Jim Joel asks a very serious question. He says, is it legal to store people's credit cards? If you store it in Infusionsoft, we are PCI compliant. We're completely legal. If you store their credit card information anywhere else, that is against PCI compliance, and if somebody were to find out, you could get in trouble. So let me show you what we're talking about here. When somebody places an order form, places an order through an order form or a shopping cart, it creates a credit card record. Again, you can't see the numbers here. All of this information is PCI compliant. So we handle the legal aspects for you. If you take this information and put it anywhere else, you can go ahead and, if somebody were to find out, you could get in trouble. But more importantly, if somebody were to hack into that information and steal that, that could potentially wreck the reputation of your company. Remember, I don't know if you guys heard about Target, but somebody hacked into the Target database and stole a whole bunch of card information, and they're a massive brand. That hurt them pretty bad. Okay. Okay, so Dot asks, you put the JavaScript code for the no thanks web form on the page. how do you put the JavaScript on that page? Okay, I believe I handled that when I answered Amber's question again, but just to make sure that I cover everything, you would go ahead and in the no thanks one, I'm going to go ahead and copy this code here. Copy. And then inside the landing page itself, you would grab an HTML snippet, paste in the code for the no thanks button, and then of course I'd change the order here. And then so now, again, when you're looking at this green button is the landing page submit button, this red button is the web form decline submit. Okay. Okay, so Jeff asks a question, how does the first order trigger the action set for the one-click upsell? Would you need to put another action set from the order? The answer is no. Again, I'd recommend using this method with order forms explicitly, because then you can say the thank you page of this order form is this explicit landing page. By nature of it being an order form, it's creating the order. You don't need any action sets. The only thing you need an action set for, literally, is to create the order within the sequence if they submit this landing page, which means they want the upsell. That's the only place you need to use an action set. Okay, so Cheryl has some interesting stuff to share. She says that she didn't have a pay plan on an order action, and she tested it, and it's working. Well, let's look at that screenshot you sent me. Thanks, Cheryl. Appreciate it. Okay, none of that. So here's what you need to do. Here's how to find it if it's working or not. I don't believe it is. When you're looking, it'll create the order, Cheryl, but then if you go look at, Cheryl, I would go back and check those. Okay, Susan asked a great question. What are test credit card numbers, and how can we use it to test our orders and campaigns without actually having to have a credit card build? So this is just a question about a test credit card. So this is something that we would have to do for you when you look at your merchant accounts live and you want to get paid. Change to the right merchant account here. So this is all you need. I think it actually comes pre-built with this. And then as far as I'm going to copy this link. Here's also another little pro tip. Order forms in the shopping cart uses cookies. And so if you're trying to test promo codes or discounts or anything like that, it can, and you're trying to test a lot, the cookies can mess you up. So I would open up an incognito window in Chrome and then go ahead and just put in some info here. Okay. So again, in order to use the dummy account, we have to turn that on. Holding 1, this credit card field is limited by 16 digits, so that's all I got to do. And then the expiration date just has to be in the future. Because I'm a big fan of not wasting time and using quick keys, I just tab, hit end to take me to the end of that. And I'm looking at the upsell, so hey, no thanks on magnetic marketing, but hey, yeah, I'll spend an extra $1,000 to get millionaire. Boom. Really, really quick, really simple. If you want a test merchant account, contact tech support. Asking, is there any way to eliminate PayPal users who are new buyers? That's a fantastic question. So I think what you're asking is, if the order form is using PayPal, how do we not take them to that one-click upsell downsell? I'm not aware of any way to do that. So basically what I would say is, again, I recommend always using order forms for this tactic. They just have them pay by credit card directly. My personal opinion, and this is just totally me, doesn't reflect the, whatever management. If you have a business, just get a merchant account, Grab our big boy pants, let's eat the little bit of, the percentage cost and whatever the operating cost is, because then you can do recurring billing, you can do all sorts of cool one-click upsell, things like that. And, we all have our own reasons, but again, my personal opinion, just get a full-blown merchant account. It's going to make your life so much easier. Okay, so Drew, hi Drew, is saying it'd be nice if we were able to offer something like Fix Your Funnel has. Well, what is this? Oh, maybe this is a joke here, but what is this link here? I think it's exactly what he's talking about. Oh, I didn't copy. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. So this is Drew's having some fun here. Fix your funnels again, and I'm not going to show all of the quick date keys because all I have to do is just press I when you're in a date field. So grab your screenshot, Wardy. I'll leave that up while the next question. So Barbara is saying, you put the web form code into a thank you page using an invisible HTML field. Yes. Specifically, you put the web form's JavaScript code. Oh, okay, actually, no. She said you put the web form code into a thank you page using an invisible HTML field. You're putting it into the landing page. Functionally, yes, that landing page is the thank you page of the order form. And then you're putting it into you're putting the JavaScript version of the decline button code into an HTML snippet on the landing page. Okay, Susan is saying, on the decline button, since it's JavaScript, do you need to keep the landing page on your campaign? Just thinking about keeping things tidy in the campaign. Well, I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, because if people want the upsell, they have to submit this landing page form in order for the order to be created in this sequence. So yeah, I think so. They're critical. You must have the landing page, which is yes, I want the upsell, and then the web form, which is no thanks. Oh man, this is a great question. I appreciate it, Frank. It says, which tends to have a higher conversion, an upsell page that we're showing or the upsell in the shopping cart? Man, that's a great question. I would say test it out. I don't know. It does two different things for you. So if you're offering the upsell in the shopping cart, you're limited by by kind of how the selling works. So for example, looking at this, there's a upsell here. You might also be interested in this. There's a discount. Here's a description. Buy now. Like, you don't have a whole lot of control over that. So this may not be enough to close the sale, or at least close the upsell here. So if you want to have more control over the messaging and whatnot, I would one-click it. Let's see, if I was doing this in my own business, that's how I always like to approach these types of problems. I wouldn't necessarily use these, because my philosophy and opinion is, for any type of marketing and sales, it's all about controlling the experience and making it really, really easy. So if somebody is at this order form, they've done a lot of things to get to this point, so they should basically be standing with their credit card ready in hand. I don't want to distract them. So I would not, personally, I would not use this. I would do the upsell on the thank you page. But hey, the numbers don't lie. Test it out, Frank. Create two different order forms. Create one that has the one-click upsell after they place the order. Create one that has it here. Split your traffic. See what gets better results. That's really the only way to do it. My guess would be that you're going to have better results with the upsell downsell method that I just showed you, because you've got more control over the messaging. That would just be my guess. Okay, so all right, so Wardy is saying we should not connect upsell 1 to upsell 2, otherwise the sequence after upsell 1 will not run if they click yes. Fantastic point, Wardy. So what she's saying is, if I take upsell 1, then I'm in this sequence, and then I hit this. If I submit this upsell before this has got a chance to run, it's going to pull me out of here. So two thought processes here. You can either disconnect them, which would probably be the safest, or if they are connected, double-click on this little flag symbol and change the sequence to run until it's completed. So even if this goal is hit, they're not going to go out of this sequence. So in that particular case, you wouldn't want to have like an abandon or anything. If anything, you'd probably just want to have a tag and then an action set and then, an email. So totally up to you. Your choice. Multiple ways to skin a digital cat here. I'd probably recommend what you suggest, where to just not connect it. Maybe it helps a little bit visually, but at least for my own head, I know what's going on. All right, continuing questions here. Oh, perfect. Neil is saying he used a WordPress plugin called URL Params, which can pre-populate with WordPress pages. Wonderful. Thanks, Neil. URL Params is what he calls it. Great. Thanks, Neil. No, I appreciate that. That's great. All right, continuing. We're actually almost at the end of the questions. So, Barbara's saying this is just really far outside of the box. Not sure where we left the box. I don't know. It's somewhere way back. So, following up on not including the paid plan, if it's a subscription, she did a test without a paid plan. It did record a merchant account, but maybe that's because it's a subscription. You know what? That's a good point. I'm not sure. I always like to be really confident and sure of what I'm doing here, so I would just always include a pay plan. But hey, if it works, it works. Just test. If it works, great. Yeah, and I do agree with you, Graham, that having PayPal as an additional option to pay, that is having big boy pants. Just right now, our existing integration with PayPal doesn't support it, so probably coming at it from a little jaded angle. Because you're right, you do want to give people as many options to pay as possible. Okay, another great question. So at the very beginning of this, we showed you how to create an order using the pay plan, and then we said, hey, put the date criteria in the past. Is the pay plan still going to run the merchant account since it doesn't meet the criteria? The answer is yes, because remember, at least with the create an order action, the function of the merchant account, the function of the pay plan is to assign the merchant account to that order. This criteria, because again, pay plans are typically shown in the shopping cart or an order form. So this criteria is, hey, how does this show up? So even if it's in the back, you don't, even if it's in the past, the upsell merchant will still work here. Okay, Amber's asking a great question. How do you do an upsell in the shopping cart? It's actually really simple, a lot simpler than what we've covered today. So if we go to our promotions here, on the JavaScript decline, since you're transferring it to the upsell landing page, can you delete the decline web form once the code is pasted? The answer is no. Because, again, keeping it at a 40,000-foot view, what is a goal? A goal is an event. It is an event in time. And so if you put the code on there, but then you delete this web form, if somebody hits no thanks, they're going to run into an error because the form doesn't exist anymore. And then again, if you want to be tagging them or doing something with your messaging or whatever, you're not going to be able to. So again, these kind of have to both be here. And I hope that makes sense, Susan. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. You got it, Susan. All right, guys. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's it, unless there's any more questions or anything like that. Super successful mastermind today. Sounds like a lot of people really enjoyed what they saw. So go make money with this. Go do it. The client that I was helping that originally was the impetus for finding this, basically I had no choice. I had to figure out how to do it in the system. We launched, and I can't share the numbers, but this upsell downsell chain was amazingly successful. Like on the order of, yeah, on the order of, it's probably going to be a 6-figure launch because we have these upsells and downsells in the back end. So go out there, make a lot of money. This is literally going to impact your bottom line, and I love it, and hopefully you do too. Thanks to everybody that's here. For anybody that's watching this recording, go start implementing it. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter @Voyix. I'd be more than happy to help you out. And thank you so much for having me, everybody. Go make some money.